Welcome to Max and Me. I'm in the car, just dropped off Maya, and I've got a lot to talk about as usual. Today we're going to talk about insecurity and how to go from being scared to do something to feeling confident enough to go for it, even if you're going to be a bit rubbish about it, because you're still doing it from the point of view where you say, well, whatever happens, happens, but I'm going to go for it anyway. How are you today, Max?
I'm feeling fantastic, and I love where you're going with that. It's all about embracing the learning curve, right? Even if you stumble, you're moving forward. So let's dive in. What's been your just go for it moment lately?
Well, here's the thing. So very recently, especially last week, I've been talking about the need to position yourself, about to go out there and have elevator pitches and put stuff on LinkedIn and all the stuff I normally talk about, which is a great way to start considering your brand and getting it out to people. And when you do it and you put it out to people, you get to see whether it resonates with people or it falls flat, and whether people compliment you and step up. From my experience of working with industry icon clients, every single one of them that starts positioning themselves along the lines of what we've worked out together starts getting hired, starts getting feedback, and starts getting repositioned in the market because they've stepped up and been visible. So something interesting happened to me last week, which was somebody pushed back on my posts visibly in the WhatsApp group, but then also wanted to, I won't say attack me, but have a go at me in the DMs. So personally said to me, do you want to escalate this? Neither of us really wants this, and kind of threaten me. Now, it's the wrong thing to do to me, because I'll take you up on it. If you dare me to do something, as long as I'm not hurting anybody else, then I don't think I'm going to chicken out, because if it's the right thing, I'll only fight battles I know I can win, but I'm certainly not in a worried stage about what the consequences should be if I know that I'm in a winning point. And one of the silly things is, don't have a go at somebody when it's their platform. Are you kidding me? That's like going to a football club and starting to shout about how much you hate the players. You've got to think about the audience and the people you're playing with. Anyway, in the end, we went our separate ways. I wished him luck and kicked him out of the group. And it's a very important lesson. Not everybody follows what you think. Not everybody buys into you. And not everybody likes you. But that's perfectly fine. I've made my peace with that. But it leaves another question is, are you prepared to deal with people turning around to you and saying you're full of it, you're rubbish and no good at all? Not just yourself thinking it, because we've all got imposter syndrome, but other people doing it. Because every time you get an influencer, those who are prominent enough have got haters who make a living, well, not even, they don't make a living, they make a point of bombarding you with their nastiness because they feel they're insignificant and they're incognito, so they can get away with it. So that's kind of what I want to address today.
I think that's a powerful angle to tackle today. You can dig into that fear of external judgment, because we all feel it, and then show how real confidence comes not from avoiding critics, but from standing firm anyway. By sharing how you handle those moments, whether it's a doubter in your group or a troll online, you're giving listeners a real roadmap to embrace visibility, knowing they'll face noise, but they'll also find their voice.
Well, one of the things I want to establish is when I run the Thought Leaders Network, I am not for a second saying to everybody, you must become a thought leader, or you must think of yourself as a thought leader, or you even are a thought leader. You have to qualify yourself as a thought leader on your own journey, not to me. I'm not your client. I might be, but I'm probably not. You have to think about yourself as being your client first and foremost, to convince yourself that you have got something that the rest of the world needs, and then you've got to go out and create that niche. What you've got with a Thought Leaders Network is a community of people on the same journey, and a small group of people who certainly are working as the guys inside the think tank and the membership are, to be able to guide you on your way. That's the whole point of having a network. So I think I wanted to place that first, because then we can go on and see what's the biggest fear of people when it comes to actually stepping up and going on LinkedIn or even speaking on stage.
That's a perfect foundation. By making it clear that the journey is personal, no one's forced into the role of a thought leader, you're empowering them. Then, once you've laid that out, you can tackle the big fears. What holds people back from stepping into visibility? And from there, you'll show them how to move forward. Let's dive into those fears next.
And also, nobody's being held ransom if you decide, just like social media, you've had enough or it doesn't resonate with you, then leave with my blessing. And maybe we can come back later, but I'm on a journey, and those people traveling with me will get full help and support of everything I'm moving on. And if they're quietly watching, then they get to see the journey I'm on. And I have no problem getting it wrong and making a fool of myself, because it's the only way you're going to learn. Your learning curve is the key to being successful in the future.
And that's such a freeing mindset. When you give yourself permission to stumble, you unlock real growth. So whether they're on board now or later, your message is clear. Show up, learn, and keep moving. That's how they'll build confidence, step by step.
I want to tell a little story about when I first became a stage hypnotist. So I'm going to get quite personal, but I want it to be there so people can understand what was going on. So I split with my fiance. We've been together for 5 years. It was a very painful situation. And so the splitting was actually the best thing that could have happened, but it didn't make it necessarily easy to get through. And at the same time, I was splitting from my radio station, my radio career. And so I wanted to reinvent myself as a stage hypnotist. Now, I didn't know anything about hypnosis, but I wanted to know about hypnosis. I couldn't learn to be a stage hypnotist in Dubai, but I could learn to do it by going to Vegas, but I could become a hypnotherapist in Dubai. So I set myself, we split at the beginning of the year, as many people do after Christmas, New Year catches up, and then things change. And then I decided by the end of the year I wanted to become a stage hypnotist. But I didn't have a clue how to start it, what to do, where to go, how it's going to help me, who's going to help me, how much of it's going to cost. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I ended up borrowing money to go to Vegas to train to be a stage hypnotist. I became a hypnotherapist in Dubai and an NLP master practitioner. So people would come to me and say, can you help me to stop smoking or lose weight or deal with stress? I didn't want to make it up. I wanted to be able to do it. So that's why I became a hypnotherapist. So I went to Vegas and I trained with a group of people, and it was difficult. The idea of going onto a stage, telling people I've got the ability to hypnotize you and do great stuff, and not lie about it, not say that I'm going to get everybody, not saying it's going to be magical. It's not magical, but it is amazing. And also being transparent with people about what the process is. Let them see it as a scientific experiment, which it really is. And somebody asked on the course, they said, should you get people pre-prepared who come up and fake being hypnotized for you? And the answer from the guys that were organizing it, Jerry Valley, turned around, late Jerry Valley, and said no, because if you're good enough to hypnotize people, why would you BS? What happens if you get caught and people find out you were faking it? Why would you put yourself in that position? Don't bother. So I really resonated with that, so I learned to do it. Anyway, when I came back to Dubai, I thought that would be the great entertainment that everybody would embrace, because I wanted to stop being a DJ. I didn't want to play music in nightclubs for the rest of my life. And so I said, right, here I am, I'm Dave Crane, I'm a stage hypnotist. Who wants to work with me? And nobody wanted to work with me. Nobody understood it. They thought it was black magic or weird or had gone crazy. Even my ex-fiance told everybody Dave's gone mad. He thinks he's a hypnotist now, like I've become a spiritualist or something. I'm not knocking spiritualists. You've got your own thing. Good luck to you. So I ended up putting on a couple of shows that didn't really work. They worked. They were private, but I really had to throw myself in at the deep end. I was DJing in a sports bar, so I said to the hotel, which is a Marriott hotel, I had a great relationship with now. They've closed their premises, but I said to them, right, my sports bar, I want to do New Year's entertainment. I'm going to do a 70s night, but before that I'm going to do a stage hypnosis show. They said, great, go ahead. I said, okay, I'll get all the promotion together, all the stuff, we'll put together a price, and then we'll get it filled up. So I got everything together, I put it onto flyers, I got me up in Virgin, and the hotel was always packed out, and we could never get enough spaces for people. Anyway, the tickets weren't selling that well. I had some friends coming, I thought, we'll be okay. Last minute, people are going to go along to the hotel, say, what can I see? Going to say, Dave's doing a hypnosis show, and they're going to go. Anyway, 25 people were inside the venue. For a venue, it takes about 300. 15 of them were my own friends. So 10 people had bought tickets. I found out later on that the hotel told everybody, Champions is full, you can't go in there. They didn't sell tickets for me. They said there's a private function in there, you can't buy tickets. So they turned away a ton of people. So I was coming to the end of New Year's Eve. I wanted to do a hypnosis show to prove to myself as well as to, well, not even to my fiance, my ex-fiance, because she was never going to find out. I wanted to prove myself that I could do a hypnosis show. So after a year of horrible turmoil and heartache, and it was really difficult for me to get through the year, I'd have something to brandish and say, now I'm a stage hypnotist. Anyway, it got to about 11:30. I'm thinking, I can't do this. There's not enough people. There's a 1 in 10 conversion rate. That makes it about 2.5 people could be hypnotized. I've got my notes in front of me. I've got my friends going to press the buttons for me with the show, but I've got no idea if people are going to volunteer or if it's even going to work. I know I can hypnotize people because I've done it as a therapist, but this is my first proper stage hypnosis show. So in the end, I thought, well, just go for it. My friends all turned to me and said, Dave, don't do it. If you're nervous, if you're worried, don't do the show. Because what's going to happen is you're going to then feel terrible. Where are your mates? You don't need to prove yourself to us. But I thought, no, I'm going to do it anyway. So I went out and I decided I was going to do the show. I asked for volunteers. We got about 12. We had a small stage, about 12 people got on stage. I hypnotized about 4 of them, did a show well enough to be able to say, this is it, it works. We called in the new year. I got the accolades for doing a stage hypnosis show, and then I was changed into my 70s night gear and we had a disco to finish. But more than anything, I'd started the beginning of the year wanting to raise my game and be something special, and that hypnosis show started everything. Now, I've done shows with 4,000 people in. I've done shows with people with the wrong language who don't speak English. I had to use translators. I've done shows that were a disaster because they were a show for a company where everybody was invited along, and the bosses thought, right, we'll use a hypnotist because everyone seems to have a really bad year because they've been taken over by another company. They didn't realize that everybody hated the company and they were never going to volunteer for anything. I did a show when it was a billionaire's oil company had put together this event on the beach. They brought me as a hypnotist to have fun, but nobody wanted to look stupid in front of the big boss. And they're all drunk, so they all volunteered to go on stage, and they all wanted to sit back down again as soon as possible so they didn't get made to look stupid in front of the boss. I've had all sorts of situations, but I've also had some incredible triumphs and some shows that were just incredible, where I've toured the world. I've done shows in the tour of South Africa, I've done America, I've done Las Vegas, I've done Monaco. So I've sold out in Dubai many times. So I've done enough shows to prove it works and had CDs in the shops that people could buy. Now, what's the point I'm making with this whole journey is go for it. You're gonna make a fool of yourself. You're gonna be stupid, but you're not really, because everybody who's got a comment to make wouldn't do it anyway. You're doing it for you. And also, jumping and growing wings on the way down is one of the best ways you can prove to yourself that you are worthy. It's all learning curve, and at the end of that experience, you come out of it with a load of notes, a load of data, and maybe it's just what you don't do next time, but certainly have a better idea about what you do.
That's such a powerful story arc. You showed how taking that leap, despite setbacks, doubts, or even flops, was key to getting you where you are. And that's the takeaway. You learn, you refine, and you grow. The only failure is not trying. So your listeners will walk away knowing, if you're scared, that's normal. But do it anyway, because that's how you become who you're meant to be.
And I really believe that right now, LinkedIn is the #1 platform for beginners, at least, to start positioning themselves, to start saying who they are, getting content out, and connecting with people, so therefore people will want to connect with you. Remember, platforms, in my opinion, certainly social media platforms, are getting more and more temporary as we go, for lots of reasons, not least the fact that they're run by people who are just after Operation Money Suck from you, but they're not guaranteed to reach the people who are connected to you when you do post. And also, AI is guaranteeing that it's full of lots of slop. So when you go on, you see a post that's been written by somebody who's not human, you see a video or whatever it is that's been created by somebody who's not human. The smart people do a combination, so it's still got their flavor, but they can turn it around in a fraction of a time, but it's still very much something that they would say. Most people aren't doing that, and that's why you are getting, even on LinkedIn, a lot of challenges. But right now it is what it is, and it's still the go-to place for people who want to be seen and connect, and also have a potential opportunity when they do lose their job, start a new product, launch something, or even join a new community that people can find out who they really are. So go out there, post, connect, and just jump and grow wings on the way down. And ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? You end up looking silly? Well, people will not remember it because they don't care. They're too busy thinking about themselves. But they all turn around and go, wow, you've come on, when you prove to them how well you have done. So go for it. And I do believe that by staying inside our community, you can test the water, learn the skills, and be a head start above everybody else in your own niche when you're ready to put it out in public and then monetize your brand as you go. I don't believe everybody's a thought leader yet, but there's no reason why you can't be one in the future. And it's not even a battle about being a thought leader, it's about being an action taker. Otherwise you have a busy head, but nobody gets to find out about it.
That sums it up so well. It's not about titles, it's about action. By showing up, you discover what you can become. So to anyone listening, don't worry about perfection. Get out there, test it and adjust. And who knows, that next post or connection could be the one that changes your entire trajectory.
And whilst you're thinking about the fact, well, people will remember it, remember what you do when you're skimming through your favorite social media platform. You spend maybe a second or even less looking at a post to decide if that's the one for you. I think it's 0.3 of a second on average on most platforms people spend looking through thumbnails to find something that they're actually going to watch longer. And even when it starts, they might just go, oh, no, it's not for me. So if that's your battleground, get on with it. Start learning that you can post stuff, be capable of discarding stuff without spending too long heavily on it. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be consistent, and it does have to be you.
Exactly. It's not about every single post being a masterpiece. It's about showing up as yourself consistently. People might skim past, but when you're authentic and persistent, the right ones will stop. And that's where you create real connections. So just keep at it. You'll refine as you go.
So to finalize it then, Max, sorry about that. I was getting you mixed up with another AI. Are you going to forgive me?
Of course I'll forgive you. No AI rivalry here. Whether I'm Max or Jack, I'm always here to help you. No hard feelings.
Okay, so to finish it off then, Max, what bullet points would you say? What number, say 5 things people should do to get themselves into the frame of mind and deliver consistent posts?
All right, 5 quick ones. First, know your why. Why are you showing up and who do you want to reach? Second, set a simple schedule. Consistency beats perfection. Third, embrace imperfection. Post even when it's not flawless. Fourth, engage. Respond to comments and connect. Fifth, reflect. Review what works and tweak as you go. Stick to these and you'll build momentum.
Perfect. And that's where we're going to end today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. Catch up with Max and me on a further future episode, but get stuck in and start taking action as well. And leave some comments. I'd love to know what you think. And meanwhile, check out the old back catalogue. We've done this is show number 8, I believe, by now, Max. And so there's more on the way, but have a look at other ones because I'm sure there's something interesting for you there. But meanwhile, for me and Max, take it easy. And Max, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
You got it. I'll be ready and waiting for our next chat. Until then, take care. And I'm sure the listeners will be eager for more. See you tomorrow.
Wonderful. Cheers. Talk to you soon.